Welcome to Grammar Lesson 15. You've done a fabulous job this semester. This is our last grammar lesson for the first semester. We're still looking at phrases, and this week we are going to look at infinitives and infinitive phrases and appositive phrases. And if you'll notice our cartoon here, we have the judge saying to the woman, 6 months for breaking the window and 10 years for splitting of infinitives. And so I'll explain to you what splitting of infinitives means when we get to infinitives. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. As a review, this is our third week we're reviewing it. The phrase is a group of words that does not have a subject or a verb and is used as a single part of speech. This week, we are going to look at two types. The types are infinitive and infinitive phrases, and appositive phrases. An infinitive is a verb form that begins with to. To ride, to sit, to read are just 3 examples of infinitives. An infinitive can be used as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. His dream is to travel. The infinitive is to travel. In this sentence, it's functioning as a predicate nominative along with the linking verb is and identifies the dream. In our second example, she is the one to ask. The infinitive is to ask, and in this case, it's functioning as an adjective modifying one. Our third example, grandmother came to visit. To visit is my infinitive, and in this case, it's an adverb modifying came and tells why. You know, splitting of an infinitive would be to break your phrase to travels, to put something else in there. If you split your infinitive with another word, it's a splitting of an infinitive, and it's something you just don't do. Okay, so let's go ahead and look here at infinitive phrases. An infinitive phrase consists of an infinitive and any modifiers or complements the infinitive has. It can function as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. So let's look at some examples here. To hit a curveball solidly is very difficult. So let's analyze this sentence. My infinitive phrase is underlined. It's to hit a curveball solidly. So let's break this down. To hit is the infinitive. A curveball is a direct object of the infinitive hit. And solidly is an adverb that modifies hit. So it's all connected to that infinitive. Thus an infinitive phrase. And in this sentence, the whole phrase is functioning as the subject of a sentence, so it's a noun. So here we have an infinitive phrase functioning as a noun or subject of a sentence. The whole phrase can act like an adjective. His efforts to trace his ancestry led to greater appreciation of his heritage. Okay, so our infinitive phrase is once again underlined, to trace his ancestry. So let's break this down. Our infinitive itself is to trace. Ancestry is a direct object of the infinitive to trace. And his is a pronoun modifying ancestry. So in this case, your infinitive phrase is acting like an adjective. The whole phrase can act like an adverb. I found it easy to accept his offer on the house. Now my whole phrase, my infinitive phrase, is again underlined. So it's to accept his offer on the house. So let's analyze this phrase. To accept modifies the adjective easy. His offer is a direct object of to accept. And on the house is an adjective phrase modifying the noun offer. So the whole thing itself functions as an adverb modifying easy. And a appositive is a noun or a pronoun placed beside another noun or pronoun to identify or describe it. And I know we've done some of these in DGPs, but this is the official definition. Example, my cousin Brian is my best friend. Okay, the appositive in this sentence is highlighted in blue, so it's Brian. And Brian identifies and renames cousin. So Brian is functioning as an appositive. Two nouns right next to each other. Second example. Our football team has won its first 2 games, one by 3 points and the other by 6. Okay, so now in this sentence you have 2 appositives. You have the word one and the word other. And both refer back to games, or they're nouns that describe games. So you have 2 appositives in this sentence. An appositive phrase consists of the appositive and any modifiers it has. The Vascuso live on Milner Lane, a wide street lined with beech trees. So my appositive phrase is highlighted in blue, and it's functioning here as a noun identifying Milner Lane. Mount Cossacuso, a part of the Australian Alps, is the highest peak in Australia. Here, our appositive phrase is a part of the Australian Alps. It's highlighted in blue, and it's right next to Mount Cossacuso. So it is functioning as your appositive phrase. They define, they explain each other. So again, let's look at this. In our first example, our appositive phrase is coming at the end of the sentence. The appositive phrase identifies the noun before it. Identifies, explains, gives you more information about. It functions as a noun itself. In our second example, we have our appositive phrase in the middle of the sentence, before the verb. But it's right next to or just following the noun that it's explaining, identifying, or giving more information to. Notice in both of these examples, they're set apart with commas. An appositive phrase usually follows the noun or pronoun it identifies or describes. Sometimes, though, it precedes the noun or pronoun. A diligent and quick-witted student, Mark, always gets a good grade. Okay, now notice in this example, a diligent, quick-witted student is a phrase which describes or identifies Mark, which in this case follows it. But it's functioning as one part of speech, describing Mark. Okay, then the last thing that we want to mention is appositive and appositive phrases are not essential to the meaning of the sentence. If they're not essential to the meaning of the sentence, they're set off with commas. However, if an appositive that tells which of one or two or more is essential to the meaning of the sentence, it should not be set off for commas. That's a little bit opposite of what we would think. So, non-essentials. Is Karen's sister Marcia a sophomore? Okay, so Karen only has one sister. Her name is Marcia. The hearer understands that. So in this example, Marcia would not be essential to the information because she only has one sister. Now compare it with this one. Jorge's sister Selena is a sophomore. Okay, Selena has more than one sister. So the fact that Selena is a sophomore is significant. It's essential information. So it is not set off with commas. Okay. So you've looked at infinitives and infinitive phrases, appositive and appositive phrases. So now in your Canvas activity, you're going to identify these types of phrases within your homework. And this may be combined with the other kinds we've thought about, because we thought about prepositional phrases, adverbial prepositional phrases, adjective prepositional phrases. Then we looked at the gerund and the participle. And then today we've looked at the infinitive, and we're finishing up with the appositive. So you've had 7 kinds of phrases. So I believe part of our activity now is to differentiate between the 7 different types of phrases that could be in a sentence. So good luck. Do your Canvas activity, grade it, check your answers. Don't worry about the mistakes too much, but learn from them. Try to understand why you made a mistake. Bring your questions on Monday, and then, of course, we'll do our activity in class on Monday. Bring your notes to your last set of notes for this semester, and I will check those too. So you've done a fabulous job. And here you go. Yay! So I'll see you on Monday, and have a great weekend.